Hi everyone, it's Kasia from Tarot Map, and today I'm going to show you the Telluric Tarot by Lunaria Gold. You can find her on Instagram and Lunaria_gold, curiouseum.etsy.com. That's where you can purchase the decks. She has done quite a few decks by now, and if you watched any of my reviews on my YouTube, it's probably you find them in the playlist Tarot and Oracle Reviews, but also there is an interview with Luna that I did for the Inspired Tarot Map. So if you're interested in the background of Telluric Tarot, but also of a Phoenician Oracle that she's done, we are talking about both of these decks, and you can take a look at this. So this was done on Kickstarter. The Kickstarter is all sent out. You can purchase these decks now. It comes in this big sturdy box, as you see, with a full color, a beautiful book, companion book. And basically what you get is she separated some of the stones and minerals. If you know her decks, she's done also Telluric Runes Tarot, Telluric Runes and the Ogham decks. And she always connects the plants and the minerals, which I find really incredibly amazing, you know. And she studied gems and minerals and rocks, so she knew a lot about how to paint them, you know. And she loves minerals, so you can hear about it in the interview. But she split some of the deck in soul, emotion, drive and mind, so and domain. So you have some of these kind of like a map in the beginning of the book, and then you get the whole page of this beautiful artwork. I just love her art. And you get the name of the mineral, the name of the plant, kind of like a key phrase, and then she writes a little bit why she kind of picked, you know, this plant for the, let's say, full archetype, and also gives you a reversed meaning. So it goes just like this for the whole thing. And also when we go into the kind of, you know, minors, but you can see that this is not really a tarot deck. And she writes here it's an oracle of stones and plants, because even if you go to, let's say, any of the minor arcana, then she goes to 10, and then let's say the page, it's not a page, it's not called anything, it just goes 11, 12, 13, 14, you know, like in the playing cards to 14, and then from 0 to again 14. So that's how she decided to do it. So I think the Telluric Tarot might be a little bit like a misjudged name in a sense. It sounds beautiful, but the Oracle of Stones and Plants, so maybe Telluric Oracle would be even better in my opinion, because it's not really so much a tarot. But when we speak about it, she actually used tarot system to kind of narrow herself a little bit, you know. So in some way it is of course inspired by tarot. So I'm just going to show you the cards now, and we are just going to go through it. I decided to use this deck as an oracle, like minerals oracle, you know. So these are the backs, and the deck is gilded, and the colors are gorgeous. I probably wish it wasn't maybe that heavily laminated, but I guess she did it because of the pop of the color when the lamination comes in. It's quite, you know, paper is quite okay, but it's not my favorite, the laminated paper. I wouldn't, let me see if we can riffle shuffle it. We can, but it doesn't get that much, you know, kind of flexibility in it. And I think the more you would riffle shuffle, the more it would bend. It's okay, it's the regular tarot size. To be honest, if I was to be really honest, I totally stopped caring too much about the paper and stock. I mean, unless it's like really, really bad, then I would be like, come on. But you know, this is great. So every card has this number. You will have this map in the beginning of the book of what kind of suit it belongs to, and there is a name and name of the plant and name of the mineral. So we're just going to go like this, so you can take a look. I'm sure a lot of you have seen this deck already. Luna has sent it to me a long time ago, but you know, it was kind of lost somewhere in the post and then found again. It took ages. Oh, I love this card with tigers' eyes. Some of these cards, like this one, I don't know, just looking at it makes me go, oh, tiger eye. Like, you know, it's so powerful. I love how she depicted, or Dioptase and Lily of the Valley. I love it. Some of the combinations she chose are amazing, but also just pure artistic expression, you know, to paint copper, like with this little, yeah, I just, if you know minerals, and I have, you know, I have special love for minerals. Check this. This is my whale calcite, but it's actually a calcite, and it's so, isn't it incredible? So I have special love for rocks in general, just the regular rocks, but also for, you know, for minerals, like this petrified wood, a little bit like polished, and some parts of it not polished. You know that I love crystal skulls, so minerals have been a big part of my life, and I have a special affinity with, I treat stones as my teachers. So having this particular deck, you know, show up, I love it because it's 78 cards, it's 78 card oracle deck with amazing minerals and plants, both of my loves. So sometimes I pick, you know, a card based on a plant, let's say. Sometimes I pick it based on the oracle Pearl and You. Oh my god, this is like one of my favorite. This is the Judgment card. I love it. So yeah, I can't stress highly enough aquamarine and borage. This is my aquamarine skull. So yeah, I can't stress highly enough how beautifully she painted the minerals, how kind of energetically true, and how they, you know, kind of make me feel when I look at the cards. They kind of come alive, you know, the opalescence of labradorite. It's not easy to catch, so it still feels like it shimmers and it can change, you know. So it's really, really beautiful. So again, to many people who were wondering how can you use it as a tarot deck, I think it would be quite difficult to just read it as a tarot deck, but I definitely would suggest that reading it as an oracle deck, just a mineral oracle and plant oracle, learning your own, you know, I have a lot of my own associations with certain minerals. Some of them I don't know, I don't have them, I've never used them, so I definitely would use also Luna's book, which is really beautiful, and you know, learn more. And sometimes the descriptions, the plants, they kind of give you an extra, you know, extra layer of understanding. Wisteria, oh, I just love this plant. And you know, from this little, it's another thing, mini deck from Rebecca, the Flora Healing, Wisteria has such a nice description, because it says decelerate, and Wisteria is well known for its fickle blooming, offering challenges to even the most fastidious gardener. Much like a capricious teenager, this bloomer takes years, often 7 to 15 years, to reveal its beauty. However, once it strikes out, it is breathtaking plant to behold. But do not mistake Wisteria as superficial. On the contrary, this flora offers lessons about patience and poise. One should never feel rushed. If you gifted yourself time to slow down, what might blossom? And this is one of my plans, I think, for this year. I'm going to pick Wisteria to be. So this is peridot as well, very heart-centered mineral for me. So the colors, the plants, you know, really, really amazing. So I think an amazing deck for people who love minerals, who are drawn to minerals and plants. Yeah, you can't get any better. I really love the way she depicted minerals. Moonstone, so beautiful. Like really natural moonstone, not obsidian and nettle. What a perfect coupling in this case for me. Or ivy, which was my plant of the year for 2020. Annuolite. I don't know this stone. Diamond and barley. Or other stone, you know. So gorgeous. So I'm going to show this deck to the end, and then I'm going to also show the Phoenician Oracle in the same video, because that's another deck from Luna. And I think there's one thing that I just was very surprised not to see in this deck, is the clear quartz, which is like my favorite stone. And such a popular one, so I'm not sure why she didn't choose to show it. Maybe it was hard to paint, I don't know. But yeah, there is no clear quartz in here, and that's, I have to say, was a bit of a disappointment for me because I love clear quartz so much. But the other deck that came up from her was the Phoenician Oracle, and this oracle is presented like the same way she did the, you know, runes and her rune deck. It's based on alphabet, so it's 22 letters, and if you know the Kabbalistic letters, they're very similar, and it's kind of like a precursor maybe, or we don't know anymore. You know, Phoenicians lived around here, the Mediterraneans, and the cultures mixed, so nobody knows anymore who did what, but it's based on like hieroglyphs. It's based on like the Kabbalistic alphabet, like the Hebrew alphabet, but also maybe the Hebrew alphabet was based on this. Who knows, you know? It's interesting subject to discuss, definitely. And this comes with the companion book as well, about Phoenicians. So like in Telluric runes you get, but it's in full color, the name of the, so you know, if you go Aleph, Beth, Gimel, you recognize this from Kabbalistic and Hebrew alphabet, right? So she writes about Phoenicians, about the oracle. She uses also Phoenicians deities like Inanna and Anat and Asherah. So she did a bit of a research about Phoenicians, and there is, you know, the Phoenicians alphabet was like pictograms and cuneiform symbols. They've been used for centuries, and they devised the first alphabet by simplifying the system. So apparently the 22 letters of Phoenician alphabet were inspired by Egyptian hieroglyphs, each representing the sound of the first consonant of the word pictured by the hieroglyph and translated in Semitic languages or language. So the term Phoenician is used for inscriptions dating from the 11th century BC and on, with older versions referred to as Proto-Canaanite script. It's really interesting, but they say that this writing system, the Phoenicians' novel writing system, spread throughout the Mediterranean, sprouting the evolution of alphabets such as Aramaic, Hebrew, Arabic, Greek, Coptic, and Latin alphabets. So it's really interesting. And then she shows the map of Carthage and, you know, where the Phoenicians were kind of really present. And then with that evolution of the Roman Empire and just shifts in cultural, you know, how they were kind of conquered and disappeared, you know. So she, in the oracle, you get the cards with the letters. You have associated plant as well, so she always uses the plant. She loves that, and I love that she loves that because I love it too. And you also have deities on some of the cards, and she's researched some of the deities, you know, not all of them. So in the book you also get the full full page colorful image of the oracle, the kind of letter, you know, associated plant, and kind of how she depicted it. You get like a pronunciation, kind of Aleph, ox, that symbol of the letter, her keywords, alliance, union, trust, like a very short description, also in shadowed reading, associated plant, marjoram in this case, and associated deity, Nanshi. And then at the end of the book you get, Nanshi, you get the description, which usually she uses some form of the story or what she found out when she did the research about, you know, these deities. So that's how it goes, like all the letters, 22 letters, there's 22 cards, and then deities. She uses some stories and descriptions, and that's it. So this would be the book, and I'm just going to, so these are the backs, same kind of size, it's tarot size, 7 by 12 centimeters. Also a little laminated, but not gilded, this one, just 22, and you know, the letters, the plants. So you would learn from this oracle. It could be like a, you know, help in your studies if you were interested in alphabets, in language, in written language, how these things, kind of inspiration of how these things mix with one another, how they kind of crossed over to different cultures, and finding out a little bit more about Phoenicians in general, which I find this concept and just the idea that she had, and that it was of interest to her, that it was really interesting and worth showing, you know, that something like this exists, and that something like this was created. I think it's really interesting because I love using cards also as prompts for studies, for further studies, for inspiration. That's why I probably love when the plants are there, because I'm finding out more about plants, you know. I go into the research mode, I start checking different things, and of course you have to be in the mood for that, you have to be interested in the subject and so on. So I know it's probably not for everybody, but these are then letters that we see in Kabbalah, that we see in Hebrew alphabet, that we probably see some of them in the Greek alphabet, and it's just an interesting concept. So the Phoenician Oracle by Lunaria Gold, and also that beautiful Telluric Tarot by her, which is also an oracle of plants and minerals. I highly recommend for anybody who's interested in subjects like this to check them out and see if this is anything that you would be interested in supporting and purchasing. So also reminding that the interview with Luna is up on my channel, and you can take a look and see if you resonate with who she is as a person as well. So thank you so much for watching. I speak to you soon. Bye.